to Advocate Today. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. The conversation surrounding body positivity is having an impact. More celebrities, social media influencers, and brands are embracing body positivity and promoting body diversity. Even iconic magazines like Sports Illustrated are noticing. Lauren Chan is the first queer plus-sized model to be featured in the SI Swimsuit edition. The fashion model, journalist, and entrepreneur is passionate about body positivity. I had the pleasure of speaking with Lauren about using her platform to help others feel seen. Welcome, Lauren Chan, Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Rookie of the Year. Congratulations, first of all, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Tracy.
Of course. Well, you have such an incredibly impressive resume, and I just wonder if you would begin by giving a little background into your work with fashion and journalism as well.
Oh, sure. Yes. My background kind of reads a little all over the map, but there's definitely one through line. And that is to work to make the people who have felt excluded by fashion, largely due to their size, feel included and powerful. And so, with that in mind, I started my career as a plus size model about a decade ago, where I was representing folks who looked like me just from modeling. And then I really wanted to use more of my voice and had the goal of becoming a fashion editor. And so I began fashion writing and landed as the fashion features editor at Glamour magazine, where I covered women's wear, but had the personal beat of size inclusive fashion. And I think that's really where I started to get really proud of the work that I was doing. And so I had a print column called Style Your Size and a digital vertical, and co-designed some clothing collaborations with a Glamour Lane Bryant ad deal. And after that foray into product, I left that job and started my own clothing brand called Henning, which made luxury workwear in sizes 12 to 26. And that was actually just acquired by Universal Standard. Which brings me here with you. I guess now I have time to be a Sports Illustrated swimsuit rookie.
That's incredible. Congratulations. You are the first queer plus-sized Sports Illustrated Rookie of the Year. And would you talk a bit about what it means to you to be carrying those intersections of your identity for folks who really, maybe need to see themselves through you?
That is a wonderful question. It means a lot to me for a lot of different reasons. But I think on the topic of intersectionality, I'm feeling incredibly free and celebrating myself in many ways that media, culture, fashion have long deemed not okay, and me representing a bunch of them. And I think we've come to a place in culture where it's okay if you're plus size, if you're healthy, and it's okay if you're divorced, if you abide by all the other rules. And, it's okay if you're queer, if you're thin. And I am Asian, Middle Eastern, plus size, an immigrant. I'm queer, I'm divorced, and I'm proud of all of those things. And I think it's a really, really special experience for me, to your point, to be able to celebrate all of that in an institution that is really, really based on celebrating women holistically.
Wonderful. Well, you dove into a lot of your experience in a piece for Sports Illustrated and talked about your queer identity and your divorce. And would you talk a little bit about what that was like for you to put it out there in the world in that way? I imagine there's a lot of excavating that goes on as a writer myself. So I'd love to hear about that.
Certainly, and then you feel my pain through the screen. I obviously went through a lot the year before this all ended up in this pretty little packaged situation. But when I went to write my piece for Sports Illustrated, which is titled How I Came Out, Got Divorced, and Landed in Sports Illustrated, there was a lot to wade through. I read my notes from therapy through the past year. I cut out a lot of the very deeply emotional and personal stuff in a way that I hoped would leave what people could relate to and feel inspired by and hopeful and excited about. But there are parts of the story that I'm really excited to share that are a little bit more serious or personal. For this platform, I really, really, really wanted to exude my hard-fought pride. I wanted to celebrate in a way that the publication tends to celebrate women, just to lead by example, and also be happy in the face of all that is happening to the LGBTQ community right now in the States.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a time where we could really use some joy for sure. Yeah. Well, I wonder, would you talk a little bit more about your philosophy around fashion and dive into this moment where, there are more conversations about size inclusion, but as you said, there are some caveats as well. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about your philosophy in that.
My philosophy on size inclusive fashion is that we should all be doing it. And if we all cared enough, it would be done. And
Mhm.
that's pretty blunt. But speaking from the experience of someone who reported on fashion and its size inclusion or lack thereof for a decade,
Mhm.
and then went out and started my own size inclusive company and had it acquired, I'm proof that it can be done. I think that I'm also proof that it takes specialized effort, that it requires folks who have the lived experience of that demographic in the room making decisions. Um, and I think that there needs to be more of it because we are still fighting for equality in fashion in terms of size and in terms of many facets
Mhm.
of what it is to be a human. But right now, we're seeing a little bit of a regression in size inclusion, actually, with conversations following the last fashion month. There were, I don't know the exact numbers, you'll have to forgive me, but there was a
That's okay.
decline in
Yeah.
the amount of size inclusive models used. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of conversation lately around pharmaceuticals and weight loss. And I've been asked a lot what I think of that. And
Mm.
although it's a very broad strokes question and the answer is a very broad strokes answer, I actually think that our calling out of those steps backward is a great sign of progress. I think
Mm.
that when we look at something like size inclusion 10 years from now, when hopefully we are an inclusive society, the journey won't have been linear. And I think that it's pretty natural to expect that sometimes we'll have two steps forward and one steps back. And I
Mm.
think maybe we're just in a step back right now. And we have to take moments like this and say, we'd like to bring it back up to where we were. And
Mhm.
so I appreciate any time anybody asks so that we can really have that nuanced conversation so that it's not just a black and white discussion of, a step backwards.
Right, right. Well, I wonder, would you share any feedback you've gotten from some folks who have responded to the Sports Illustrated spread and the article, for whom you made them feel seen?
Oh, that's so lovely. There are so many. It's even a little overwhelming to try to think of the answer to that because
Yeah.
the outpouring of love was so spectacular.
Mm.
Um, I don't know that I expected so much,
Mm.
and I am just clearly speechless at the response. But I think broadly I can share that from followers who I have not met on the internet to my cousins and family, there were so many people who even just said a simple "we're with you, we're so proud of you" that made a huge difference, not just for this launch, not just for this week or month, but for this turning of a page in my life and this starting of a new identity. And I'm clearly emotional. I just can't be grateful enough. Yeah.
Thanks again to Lauren for speaking with me. She's a delight, and I can't wait to see what she does next. That's all the time we have for this Advocate today. We're covering everything from politics to entertainment on the Advocate Channel. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and I'll see you next time.